Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about TikTok today. It's definitely been a minute since the last time we went on TikTok, which I hadn't realized how long it had actually been. I think the last one we did was on the bootleg Property Brothers, but we're not going to be looking at the typical cringe culprits like POVs or pranks like the stuff you typically find on TikTok, but I actually want to look into a new kind of cringe, or at least new for this channel. And that kind of cringe is corporate cringe. I know some of you guys are probably sitting there like, Casey, what the hell is corporate cringe? I'm gonna at least tell you guys what I think it is, because I guess at the end of the day it is pretty subjective. But to me, I feel like corporate cringe is just when any kind of corporation or brand is just trying to act a bit too over-familiar with their audience. So maybe they're trying to be very friendly and innocent and trying to act like quirky and relatable, all while having the not-so-secret ulterior motive that they're trying to sell you something. And I guess part of that cringe is that them trying to be friendly with you is also part of them just wanting you to feel like you're friends so that you're loyal to them. I think corporate cringe has honestly been around as long as traditional ads. Like, there have definitely been cases where I've seen a billboard or a commercial on TV and I've kind of just been sitting there like, you don't know me like that. But I feel like social media has really taken the potential for corporate cringe and just made it a lot more frequent and secondhandedly embarrassing. Before we start though, I did want to give a quick shout out to Casetify, who sponsored today's video. I'm sure you guys have seen Casetify cases online. They're phone cases that aren't just cute, but actually protect your phone. And that's because they're engineered with Casetify's Chi-Tech 2.0 technology that makes them drop test approved for drops up to 9.8 feet for the ultra impact case, and they're also wireless charging and 5G compatible. I'm sure this comes as a surprise to no one, but I'm insanely clumsy, so their phone cases have really been a lifesaver because I can drop my phone honestly as many times as I want, and literally nothing happens to it. One of my biggest pet peeves in the past was that it felt like I had to choose between a cute phone case and one that actually protected my phone, but I feel like Casetify does a great job of offering some great design options, and you can just tell the difference in how secure and protected your phone feels in their cases. One of my favorite things about them though is that they collaborate with a ton of different artists, so their featured artist collection has some really unique and fun case options. But if you're looking for something a bit more custom, Casetify does give you the option to personalize your phone case by adding your name or initials and choosing from their huge variety of color and design options, so you can really have fun with it. Casetify's impact and ultra impact cases are also 100% BPA free, 100% non-toxic and non-hazardous, and their cases feature Defensify, an antimicrobial coating that kills 99% of bacteria and prevents bacteria from sticking to the case surface. Plus they're made with 65% recycled and plant-based materials. All around, I'm just a really big fan of them as a brand, and if you got the new iPhone 13, this would probably be a good way to keep it protected while it's still looking cute. And if you go to caseyaonso.com/caseyaonso, you can save 15% off of that new iPhone 13 case. Thanks again to Casetify for sponsoring. Now let's get back into the video. I feel like right now you can separate corporations on social media into two categories. The first being the traditional corporate account where they just repost standard ad copy that you'd expect to see from them anywhere, while the other kind takes the more relatable / quirky approach where you'll see more unique efforts fit for the platform they're on to promote themselves and also convince the users that, I mean, yeah, we're a corporation, but we're not a corporation. We're friends. And friends support friends, right? So like, buy our stuff. Or maybe we'll just kill off our mascot. Push our social intern out of a window. I also feel like I should mention the bimbofication of a lot of mascots in the past few years. I don't really think it's its own standalone category, but more of an effect of the quirky approach. All I'm personally hoping for is that Miss Wendy does not randomly walk in with a BBL one day. The whole road of relatability for a lot of these brands though has definitely been rocky, considering that this is what most of them have been working with. But I feel like in the past few years, because of the rise of influencers, a lot of brands have realized that when it comes to social media, it isn't about paying traditional celebrities millions of dollars or regurgitating ad copy. It's about the all-coveted relatability, the "you're not my followers, you're my friends" approach. So why not cut out the middle spokesperson altogether and just turn the brand into the relatable friend? What could possibly go wrong? Spoiler alert, turns out a lot. I think if there's anything to learn from the silence brand meme craze, it's that people absolutely hate when brands try to invade their spaces to slyly promote themselves, no matter how funny they are. And I can't even blame them, honestly. Anytime I see a brand trying to make a joke, I kind of automatically just roll my eyes a bit, even though I know that there is an actual person behind that account that probably uses Twitter on their own and maybe they are actually funny, but they've just been given the impossible task to make a brand feel friendly, which I mean, I'm sorry, I just don't want to be friends with Taco Bell. But back to the brands, I think the corporate relatability really started over on Tumblr and eventually moved to Twitter, where it's definitely been more popularized. But recently there's been a massive rise in brands trying to be relatable on TikTok, and at least from my perspective, it seems as if there's more brands than ever trying to do it on that platform than any other kind before. And TikTok's popularity as an app in general is, of course, a reason, but I also think a very specific gold rush happening over there is also part of it. And when I say gold rush, I essentially mean just the massive buying frenzy happening over there. The easiest way that I can compare it is it just reminds me a lot of 2015 beauty YouTube. Like back then, if a big beauty guru put a certain product in their monthly favorites, that product was sold out immediately and you could not get your hands on it for ages. But the difference between that point on YouTube and what's happening right now on TikTok is that to have that kind of power, you had to be a massive beauty guru. On TikTok, because of their algorithm, it could be literally anyone. And it's also not limited to beauty products. Any product or service can blow up on there. I literally bought a pillowcase because someone suggested it on TikTok. No comment on that, by the way. So I guess it's no wonder that brands are seeing what's happening and are sitting there like, we could wait for some random person to have a viral video about our product, or we could just do it ourselves. It's definitely a smart tactic, but seeing comment sections like this on TikTok genuinely make me want to die. I think what bothers me so much about them is that it feels like they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes, but you're completely aware of it while they're doing it, and it feels like they're aware that you're aware, and they're just hoping that you kind of ignore it. Like, I know that the person making self-deprecating jokes at Denny's is not actually Denny's. The people who actually call the shots at Denny's probably have never been on TikTok or Twitter in their life. So why should I be helping them out? There's also the sad reality that brands are using memes for engagement and promo, but they don't have to compensate the original creators behind the meme. They just get to cash in on the attention they'll get from it and then move on. I don't know. I just feel like fake relatability is one of those things that just really gets under people's skin in a way that nothing else can. And the only thing worse than somebody who's not relatable pretending to be relatable is a brand doing it, because there's literally no room for sympathy. There's no face, it's just a logo. But what's really interesting to me, and is honestly a big part of why I wanted to make this video, is that a lot of brands have been using TikTok to try and change this. I feel like that platform is an opportunity that a lot of brands are getting for the first time to just come off as more authentic in comparison to other ways that they've tried, because on TikTok, they can put on a relatable and friendly face. One example I can think of is when a few months ago, apparently every TikTok intern on planet Earth had all promised their boss that they were going to get 100,000 followers on TikTok, so please boost this post and engage with it and follow us so I don't get fired. I'm sure there were some genuine stories in the mix there, but there is no way you can convince me that every person who made that TikTok was telling the truth. But despite that, I saw video after video going viral because who doesn't want to help out an intern? Maybe you're an intern yourself and you just want to do someone a solid, or maybe you just kind of feel bad for them. But the big difference is that you would probably never root for or support a company like that out of the gate if it hadn't been for that ordinary looking person asking you for help out of a relatable predicament. Another way that brands have been trying to be more relatable on TikTok is by quite literally cosplaying as the customer. I don't know if you guys have noticed these on your For You page as well, but they are all over mine, where it looks like at face value it's just a genuine first impressions or review on a product, but then you look at the username and you realize it's definitely affiliated with the company, and then you also realize that there's a sponsored tag on it. And the thing is, if you didn't notice that super tiny little sponsored section at the bottom, you would probably think it's just a genuine first impressions video that's blown up like any other TikTok video. I will say that a lot of these companies are absolutely terrible at trying to hide this, and usually they are pretty obvious, but there have been some cases where I almost fell for it just because I didn't think to look in the bottom left. Another really popular tactic is just commenting on a viral video as a brand, either acknowledging that something's funny or building off the joke. And I think the goal for that is they don't want the brand to come off as a brand, but as another TikTok obsessed user, just like you guys. Since we are talking about different tactics, by the way, I feel like this is a good place to slide in a tiny conspiracy I have. It all started when I read this article by Vox that was talking about this whole idea of fake influencers on TikTok. Apparently there's this company that has a bunch of actors that were hired to act as different people on there, and they create content as them. There's a girl pretending to be a broke Gen Z who lives with her sister and works at a dating site, a sugar baby named Carmen, an army veteran named Chris, and they even have a finance fuckboy for some odd reason. But again, none of them are real. They're all characters being played by actors, and the company's goal is to create this Marvel-like universe for all of these fake influencers. And while that's definitely a headache-inducing idea on its own, I couldn't help but think about how long it's going to take until brands start doing this. Because how easy would it be for them to just hire people to act as a friendly face that's detached enough from the brand so that they're more relatable? So it would be like that intern tactic, but instead of it actually using an intern in the video, it's an actor. It would definitely be a lot easier to bank on than an influencer because since they're a hired employee, there's less of a risk that they'll run into a scandal. But they still have the relatability that a lot of brands online acting as themselves will never have. It's not a good idea. It just, of course, comes with the small price of our real lives turning into an episode of Black Mirror. I think we're still a ways away from that stuff, but I think right now one of the biggest hurdles that brands are facing online is that it's kind of hard to come off as relatable when you're showing up to trends 8 years late. I think it's probably because it takes forever for interns to convince their higher-ups who have probably never been on Twitter or TikTok in their life that posting a Yassify meme of the Michelin Man is going to get them more engagement than tweeting Happy Monday. Like, how do you even explain this tweet to someone over the age of 35? And I guess at the end of the day, the turnaround time just ends up being a lot longer than the average lifespan of a meme. So by the time they're able to push it out, the internet's already moved on. And you might be sitting there thinking, well, if corporate cringe is so bad and so many corporations and brands get so much flack for it, why do they even bother? But the reality is that one man's cringe is another man's not cringe. I don't really know a fun way to put that, but I'm essentially saying that there are a lot of people on the internet who genuinely eat that up. A recent example I can think of are all of the Taylor Swift fans who were just loving all of these brands and corporations that were talking about and supporting Taylor's Red re-release. Anytime one of the brands was tweeting in support of the Red re-release or they were building off of jokes with the fans, they were all completely on board with it. Did they actually care about Taylor Swift? Who knows? It doesn't even matter. They got a ton of brand recognition and brownie points from a bunch of Taylor Swift fans, all for commenting things like, "Down with Jake Gyllenhaal." And it cost them nothing. All these brands have to do right now to come off as relatable in a way that the audience accepts, at least on TikTok, is just engage with pop culture. And that's a lot less work and money than creating a commercial, and it's a tactic that's completely unique to social media. Another example of that actually working is one that I actually experienced during like One Direction stan Twitter. I don't know if any of you guys remember this, but there was a time where the Applebee's Twitter account was obsessed with engaging with One Direction fans. I couldn't tell you when it actually started, but all of a sudden the Applebee's account was just engaging with everybody, following every One Direction account, and making tons of jokes within the fan base. It got to the point that people started putting Applebee's out of 5 in their Twitter bio because Applebee's was following them. Which in hindsight is so odd. Like, we don't even have an Applebee's where I live. Why was I so engaged with this account? Since then, though, they have unfollowed everyone and they tweet more normally now. But I feel like it was a good early example that if you can get somebody behind your social media who knows how to talk to people online in a way that they feel is relatable and authentic, it makes the brand feel relatable. And that's all brands want to be right now. Another more recent example of a company doing really well right now would probably be Duolingo. They're killing it, especially on TikTok, and I think it's because they're just always right on top of the trends and ready to lean into any jokes that users have made about the brand itself. Like, they constantly play up that meme about how threatening the Duolingo bird is because of the notifications you always get slammed with if you don't do your lessons. And I think they're a great example of how successful brands can be with looking relatable if they just cut down that turnaround time and act on memes and jokes as they're coming out. Another one I can think of is the Wendy's mixtape from 2018, which is just the weirdest sentence. But if you don't remember that one, Wendy's literally dropped a mixtape to promote their 4 for 4 deal with songs like Twitter Fingers, Holding It Down featuring Wendy Williams, Rest in Grease, Clownin', and 4 for 4. And the thing is, it wasn't bad. Like, it was a lot better than what most YouTubers put out. And it even got the attention of actual rappers, which I don't know if Wendy's actually paid them to make a comment on it, but if they didn't, getting that kind of celebrity promo for free just because you dropped a joke mixtape is crazy. I think those examples and just the way that a lot of brands are acting on TikTok these days just shows that a lot of brands have definitely become a lot more comfortable with being part of the joke or doing more out-of-the-box things you'd only see on social media. And because of that, I think we're only going to see more and more brands putting out things like bimbified mascots or even fan fiction about their mascots. The possibilities are endless, but I wish they were. I think it will be limited to TikTok and Twitter for now at least, considering that those platforms are just really geared towards the younger generations that'll actually get the joke. Like, I'm pretty sure if you try to show somebody over the age of 45 anime Colonel Sanders, they would immediately die. And while I'm not a huge fan of brands trying to act relatable and quirky in general, I do think the more creative ideas are pretty cool, especially because I feel like in those situations, the brands aren't trying as hard to convince you that they're friends with you. Like, it's not them just commenting, "It's the blank for me," or copying a meme or joke to just cash in on some free engagement. So it's a bit less cringe. Can become a bit more unhinged, definitely, but it's the internet. I feel like opinions on how brands act online, though, can definitely vary, so I'm really curious to know what you guys think about this one. Like, do you just point blank hate brands trying to act more relatable online, or are there certain situations where you feel like you're a little bit more open to it if there's more effort? I've also noticed that you don't really see brands dealing with as much pushback on TikTok versus Twitter. I couldn't really figure out why that is, but honestly, if platform is a factor for you guys and how you respond to brands, feel free to explain why. I just find it really interesting that the silence brand response hasn't really translated over there yet. But yeah, if you want to leave your thoughts, I think it'll be a really interesting conversation. Hopefully this video didn't piss off the Duolingo bird very much. I'd like to not cut my life short, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. You can also turn my post notifications on if you want to be updated every time I upload. And you can find me outside of YouTube on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, which are all caseyaonso. I'll link them in the pinned comment. But otherwise, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video again. I'll see you in the comment section and in the next video.